Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. So today what I want to show you is I'm gonna tell you all the things you need to get a putting green like this one. There's a lot of misconceptions about how to set up a green, and I will give you some guidelines on how to do it, and I would also tell you what things I would have done differently if I had to do it all over again. So stay tuned. I have this green for many years now, and the first thing that I would suggest doing if you want to do this in your backyard is first of all, you have to get a little something that I never did before, is to put like a layer, a coating, some kind of layer. You can put it to prevent the soil from the bottom to kind of mix with the soil that you're going to put in. So that's the number one thing that you need. So after you put a layer of on the bottom, the next thing you need is some soil. And this is where a lot of people think that you need some kind of special soil. This depends on the area where you live, but you can just get the regular soil for plants that you see at the store, and you can mix that with some sand. So just fill it up on the top. But the main thing is that you want to cover the ground where you are, because otherwise what happens, not initially maybe, but over the years, the ground will tend to mix with the soil that you have, and then eventually it will just become what's in the bottom. So that's why it is important to put the layer on the bottom. You're probably better off getting a lot of soil, because if you want to create some slope or you want to make it a little higher, then a lot of times what they offer is you can order like a truck of soil, and they deliver it to you and you can fill it up. So as long as you put it on top of the layer, the plastic layer, then you're fine. So after you have your soil, you want to make sure you flatten everything, you make your slopes, whatever you want to do, as long as everything is completely flat, because that could be a problem later. So you mix the soil with some sand and you make it flat, and now the next step is seeding. So what you want to get here, it depends on where you live. Where I live is in the north of Italy, so the best option for me was bent grass. Now if you live in a hot area, you will need another type of grass that is suitable for your area, but definitely not bent grass on really hot climate areas. The seeds are really tiny, so you have to make sure you spread them well, you read the instructions, and that's what I did really. I didn't do it on all the part of it, because I put some grass already. I laid some grass on some parts, but in a lot of parts I did put the seeds. So you do that, and then you water it, and then you wait. Okay, so it's gonna take time to grow. Make sure to do it in the right time, in the spring, not in the winter, obviously. Let it grow, and the first cut, you have to make sure you do it either manually or using a really good mower, because otherwise you risk pulling the root out of the ground. What I did actually, since I had a small area, I just cut it manually. So when it gets about this big right here, this big right here, you just cut it manually. Okay, so the next thing you need is greens mower. This is going to be an investment, but if you buy a second hand, you can definitely find it for much cheaper than the original price. I bought this machine for just $200. It was a guy who didn't want it anymore, and so I was able to grab it for $200. I had to make some mods to it because it was 7 millimeters to cut, so I had to lower it to about 4. So I did those mods, but it works pretty good. But definitely, if you want to have a green in your backyard, you do need one of these. It is a cylinder mower, so it has to cut the grass like that. You cannot do it with the regular mower, because it's not gonna do it right. It's not gonna go as low as you need with this. So definitely you need this. As far as maintenance, a lot of people think that you need a lot of maintenance, you got to treat it a lot, and to be honest, you don't need that. The most important thing for me is to cut. I mean, it depends how you want your green. If you want it in top shape, you have to keep cutting it every day. If you want, the reason why is because the leaf of the grass, if you leave it a little high, then even if you cut it low and then you let it grow, it's going to be high. So you have to constantly cut it low. That way the leaf would grow even smaller, and that's what gives it the effect of greens that you see in at the golf course. So it all depends how you want your green. Now for me, this works great. This green rolls pretty good after I managed to lower my greens mower, and for chipping and for potting is just fantastic. Basically, initially I used special fertilizers, but it didn't matter. Now I use anything for grass to fertilize grass, and it works great. I do it twice a year. I don't really have a schedule. I do it when before it rains. And like I said, the green is going to look as good as how much time you put into it. You want to make sure you give some, you have some downhill putts and some uphill putts. For instance, here I have a downhill area, so I can practice on my downhill putts here. And then you can also work on some uphill putts. So you want to make sure you have another area where you putt uphill. And you can also put different cups, so that's not a problem. You can either use one. Right now I just have one cup, but you can use different cups. So I created 2 areas where I can chip from. One is about like 15 yards and the other one is like 20 yards. And from here I normally work with different clubs. And basically, like I mentioned before, you want to make sure that the soil is, that you put the layer on the bottom, because in my case, the soil is a little hard, the one in the bottom. So I kind of mix with it, and now my green is a little tough, so it kind of bounces a little bit too much for me. But if I were to do it again, I would definitely put the layer on the bottom. So this is the second chipping area I created. I just mow it a little lower here, and it's just about 20 yards, so I can practice on my chipping here. For my green, I have to bounce it like right at the beginning, because it's gonna roll a little more than normal greens, except for when it rains. When it rains, it does check more. So basically, I made a lot of changes over the years. I made it longer, bigger, and I did more seating, and I also had a bunker, but it was too small, so I kind of closed it. I was kind of healing there, and I'm planning to do other things, another bunker, a bigger bunker, and things like that. So like I said, it depends on how much effort you put into it. If you're not going to mow it, then it's not going to be as nice. If you put a lot of effort to it and you mow it every day, then you're going to have a really nice green in your backyard. But anyways, I hope that helped. Just a few things that you need to know before you build your backyard green. And again, it's not that hard. A lot of people think that it's very difficult to do, but it's not. And I think the benefits are huge, in my opinion. Regardless of how small it is, I think it's always great for practice. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time.